88% of millionaires are self-made, according to this study. Now, a lot of these millionaires have different mindsets and habits in common, which is really nice for us because we don't have to reinvent the wheel and start over at nothing. And I've been studying finances and talking to wealthy people for like 8 years now and really just obsessing about it. And these are some habits that I have found that I've incorporated into my own life, and they have drastically improved my finances. Focus on creating instead of consuming. As Americans, I think we're pretty consumeristic, and especially when it comes to media and how we spend our time. We spend hours every day looking at our phones, hours watching TV, binging stuff on Netflix, even just shopping as a pastime. Everything we do revolves around consuming what somebody else created. But when it comes to, let's say, just watching a YouTube video or going through Instagram, if you can change your mindset from consuming to creating, that's where a lot of wealth is created. A lot of it comes down to just providing value from people. And if you look at most wealthy people that you know, they're probably creating some type of value for people and they're consuming less. So something that I try to do when it just comes to like Instagram, this could be with anything, but for me, it's more of a digital thing, that I have tried to almost completely stop scrolling through Instagram, looking at random stuff. And if I actually want to go through and look at Instagram, I have it not downloaded on my phone right now, but I will have to come up with something that I'm going to post. So if I'm going to consume, I'm also going to give something back and I'm going to post something. So this kind of gives me that mindset that I'm not just on there to consume, I'm on there to produce a little bit as well. And as you produce more stuff, whether that's physical or digital, you'll start to earn more, whereas consuming, they generally only help you if you actually put them to use in the real world. Taking a breath. There's this hustle culture that's going on right now that is kind of insane. And a lot of times we think that the idea is that we just need to work harder, do more stuff, constantly, put more effort in. And a lot of times that's not actually the best thing to do. If you look at people like Warren Buffett does this, for example, he'll take like a week a year and he'll just go to a cabin away from distractions and he'll just read and think and kind of reflect on different stuff. And this is something that I know a lot of wealthy people that I know personally do this. And it's something that I've tried to implement, which feels very counterintuitive because we feel like in order to be earning more, we need to keep doing more stuff, and actually taking time to slow down doesn't lead to anything immediately, so we feel like we're wasting time. However, even just like going for walks or taking a weekend to just really dive into a subject or a book and really think about stuff can help you with the bigger picture of things. Like a lot of times we'll be so focused working in our business that we don't stop and ask, should we even be at that business? Is that the best path for us? Is this where we want to be in 5 years or 10 years? And if it's not, what are we actually doing to get us closer to what we want to be doing? So something I've been doing recently to kind of counter that, because I found myself in that kind of like treadmill recently, it's just going for long walks with like no phone. Usually I bring a notepad, and a lot of times that's where I will have a lot of creativity will come to me. Then I'll come up with new ideas. I'll see new big picture stuff. I'll think about my investing and my finances and my personal life and just all these different things. When you take a step back and you can kind of evaluate your life, even kind of trying to think of it from somebody else's perspective, like you're giving advice to yourself, it's super, super helpful. And I think that's really important, is take those rest periods combined with those work periods. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and getting any value, it would mean a ton to me if you could subscribe. It is free. You can always unsubscribe later, but yeah, subscribe if you're not already. Less but better when it comes to investing. I've got a couple of quotes from Warren Buffett that have really stuck with me on my investing journey. The first one is never invest in a business that you cannot understand. And the second one is diversification is protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what they're doing. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to the stock market, but that's because I don't try to. I don't enjoy the stock market. I don't enjoy reading about companies and going through their statements and trying to beat the market. Instead, I do simple investing like in index funds, which historically do a lot better than individually picking stocks. An insane amount of people lose money when it comes to investing. A lot of times people will see a headline about something and then they'll invest into that company, and they have no idea what the leadership looks like, what their financial statements look like, if they made money in the last quarter. Instead, they're getting FOMO and they're trying to invest in something they have no clue what the future holds for it. And that's something that I try not to do at all. And a lot of people also talk about diversification and how that is a good thing. But when you look at people, like, we're gonna keep going back to Warren Buffett on this, I guess, but they don't have a ton of different investments. Even like Elon Musk or Mark Cuban, they had different investments, but especially when they were getting started, it was one business or one decision, inventing Microsoft, inventing one product that really boosted them into financial success. Same thing with most self-made millionaires. It's generally starting one thing that is the catalyst. So this is why I really stick with real estate investing. It's something I understand. I've been a real estate agent for like 9 years now, and I've helped a ton of people house hack and flip properties. I've done it myself. I've been through thousands of houses, and that's why I invest in real estate and I go all in on that. I'm not worried about diversifying into other things because this is something I understand and I know I can get a good return on. But for somebody else who doesn't know anything about real estate, that's how you get burned. And it's investing into something that you have no idea what you're doing. So this is a philosophy I take where I only invest into things that I understand, or I diversify and realize I might get slightly worse returns, but it's going to be a little bit safer. And that's where like kind of low cost index funds comes in for me. Networking. As an extreme introvert, this is something that's very hard for me, but I've also realized that it led to a lot of growth that I have experienced. And I think we've all heard that your network is your net worth. And I think that's extremely true. It's this whole idea of you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And for me, I've really noticed that as I hang out with people who earn 10 times more than me, I've realized that it's possible to earn 10 times more than I earn right now, which I never even thought about before I started hanging out with these people and seeing how they think. And when you hang around people who work really hard, who have good habits, who want the best for you, who want you to grow, and they want to grow themselves, you see that hunger in them to be able to help themselves, help their family, help other people. It's really motivating for you in whatever type of business you're in. When I was a real estate agent, I started hanging out with some of the top producers in my office, and I realized that there's a whole nother level that I never even realized existed, and that possibility was there for me. And while I sucked at being a real estate agent, when it comes to YouTube, I did the same thing where I started hanging out and talking to other creators, and you kind of encourage each other and help each other out. And you can learn from people who have been there before, who have made successes and failures. It's kind of like this idea that I actually heard from Mr. Beast.
Mess up, you learn from your mistake. You mess up, you learn from your mistake. You in 2 years, might have learned from 20 mistakes. Or if you have like 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from the mistake, they teach you what they learn. Stuff like that. Hypothetically, you 2 years down the road have learned like 5 times more of the amount of stuff. So it just like helps you grow exponentially way quicker.
Stealing from myself. This is a practice that I've originally learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it's this idea of paying yourself first. And I found this to be kind of really motivating when you prioritize saving money and then investing. As soon as you get your paycheck, you go ahead and invest it so that at the end of the year, you have like almost nothing left in your checkings account. It really keeps the kind of the fire under you to have to go out and earn more because you don't have a lot of money. If you see a ton of money in your checkings, you won't be as motivated. You'll be more likely to spend money. But if you don't see anything in there because it's all in saving or investing accounts, then you're going to be motivated because you know you need to pay the bills, or you're going to have to like sell off some stuff in order to pay them. So this is kind of a way for me of just keeping pressure on myself, making sure I don't kind of get too relaxed. And it's just really simple. It's just prioritizing your future over kind of your present. Building systems. It's so much more effective and simple to build systems in your life. And for me, I try to do this with like everything that I do now. It's instead of like having budgeting be a thing that can be hard, taking time, finding like an app and putting all your info in there so you can effortlessly track your spending. It's a system that you created where you put in work up front and now it kind of happens automatically. The same thing happens with working or working out or learning. Like, what is your system to make sure that you're continually learning new things every single week? For me, I read 1 page of 1 book every single day. Sometimes it turns into 20 pages, at least it's 1 page. For my business, it's actually scheduling things out, organizing them, creating a system and a workflow that I can follow so that I'm not kind of all over the place, which is definitely happens to me a lot as a more creative person. Staying organized is extremely hard, but I have a system now where I start with this and I move through the process, and every Monday morning I post a video. And as I've done this for years, it becomes effortless. So really building systems can help simplify your life and your finances, and in return make you a lot more efficient and hopefully earn more money. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. It is free. You can always unsubscribe later, but it helps me out a lot. And thanks for watching.